Hi. In this video on retirement, I'm going to talk about a couple of things. The first of them being the so-called bucket list. The bucket list we desire to fill up when we retire. This is something that a lot of people think about. When I retire, I will be able to. Providing I have the money, I will. And so it goes on. And yet I can recall somewhere in one of the comments I've received on these videos, a fellow saying, I have no interest in fulfilling a bucket list. I've done all those things already. Now maybe you haven't. Maybe you haven't had an adventurous life. Maybe it's been the same old routine for many, many years, and the only time you've ever really thought, well, I'm enjoying myself is when I'm on my annual holidays. But I'm a bit like the fellow who commented. I have never had any great desire to fill a bucket list in retirement. Why? Probably because I had a very adventurous working life. I have lived and worked in the jungle. I have worked and lived in Antarctic conditions. I have travelled on a ship all the way from England to Australia, way back in the 1950s when everything was so different. I have flown in all manner of aeroplanes, sailed in all types of ships, and done lots and lots of things, including probably about 15 different types of work. Some of them only for a day or so, some of them only for a week or so. But I've had the experience. So I've never had this great desire to see the world or do great things in retirement. Now, I understand a lot of people do not fall into that category. But where this bucket list is concerned, what are you going to do? Do you think it will really bring you the satisfaction that you think it might? This came home to me just a few days ago, actually, when I was watching a documentary about some part of the world, I think it was Northern Ireland or some place like that, where everything was being now photographed and commented upon from up high. Now we have these machines that can fly around and take photographs from all manner of angles, looking down from 3,000 feet, 400 feet, 10 feet above the ground, etc. Things that we will never be able to see in their bucket list, because we'll be looking at everything from ground level. And I think to myself, by watching various documentaries about what's going on in the world and what's been going on in the world, our education is far greater than actually going out to see and fulfill things with our bucket list. In our bucket list, we would be standing in queues to see paintings. We would be standing in more queues to get on aeroplanes, etc. In other words, the so-called bucket list mightn't be the pleasures that we expect it to be. Now, I hope this isn't sounding too negative, but what I'm trying to tell you is this. Will the bucket list, which might cost you a lot of money out of your retirement nest egg, if you're determined to fulfill it, will it bring you the satisfaction that you really think it will? Of course it'll be fleeting, of course it will pass, and of course you'll probably come home with hundreds of photographs which you intend to show to friends, and you'll show some of them, and then they'll be put away. And you will have passed through the bucket filling stage. So what are you going to do then? You might have far less money to enjoy the rest of your life in investments so that you can live comfortably the way that you wanted to. In other words, you've blown it all. I'm sorry. if it sounds that way. But my advice would be, if you have a bucket list, keep it short, keep it pretty concise and not too expensive. Okay, well, so what's the other thing? Staying in the house you've lived in all this time when you retire. At least for some time. Because the transition stage from going to work and being fully retired is traumatic enough as it is, without immediately saying we're going to live somewhere else. Because where you're living at the moment, whether you like it or not, you're familiar with everything. Get familiar with retirement, living in the home that you're in now, at least for some time, while you settle in. You know where the shops are, you know where the transport is, you know where your friends live, and all of those sort of things. Even the familiarity of, for example, knowing where the coffee shop is and knowing that those people know you by sight and even call you by name. This is all very comforting when you first retire. So don't rush in to moving away from where you are now. Give it some thought. You might decide never to leave. Or you might decide eventually, yes, we will downsize, but we'll move 2 streets away. We like it where we are. To suddenly think, I'm going to go to live in another country. We'll go to the Philippines. We'll go live over there in Spain. We'll go up to Bali. It's cheaper there. Will you be happy there? You can't be on perpetual holiday. You've got to have things to do. Will you fit into society there? Will you be able to contribute, do useful things? These things are essential when you retire. You've got to have this feeling of purpose, the feeling that you're contributing, the feeling that you're not worthless. Okay, I think I've said enough. Anyway, these were just thoughts off the top of my head this morning. I hope you get something out of this retirement video. See you in the next one.